Welcome to A Couple of Things. No, you're not dreaming. This is A Couple of Things, and I'm joined here. I'm not single. I have full permission from my husband to do this.
Yes.
This is just a girl talk we're doing, and I'm joined by my very, very good friend, Kia Betwi. How do I say your last name?
Marema.
Marema.
Yeah. I think Kia, I just love my name the way that it is.
Kia.
I think I just...
You don't want anything attached to it?
No. I just love my name the way it is.
We'll get into that later, why you want your name the way it is. But yes, guys, welcome to A Couple of Things. My name is Mamus, and I am joined by this amazing soul. Kia is a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She is beautiful. She loves to travel. She loves everything business. And then the most important thing that she loves the most are her kids and Lucy.
Lucy,
Lucy is her dog,
my fairy baby, and
Lucy and I are oil and water. That's how I had to throw her in there.
Thank you, baby. Thank you.
We've been wanting to do this for a very long time now. I'm so glad that we're doing this today.
Yeah.
And I think everything, just timing is right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I love it.
So cheers, babe.
I wouldn't want to
Thanks for being here.
Anyone else? Thank you for inviting me.
We're about to get in, guys. Help me.
This is going to be fun.
I just want to get in how I met Kia. You know, we did this show, together. And oh, wow. And I think when we met first day, it was literally friendship.
I cannot.
From that second we met.
Like, for me, meeting you and forming real formidable friendships on our journey on the show together was, for me, the highlight of the experience,
Yeah.
Really meeting people that you want in your life permanently. Oh my God, that is such a huge thing.
Yeah.
That is
the
such
village getting bigger, you know?
It's amazing.
Yeah, because women, we go through so much on a daily basis, being in relationship, being a mother, being business, being work, whatever it is we're dealing with. And it's so important to find genuine people, and especially in an environment that we are in with, the housewives.
Yeah.
It's so important to know that if I'm speaking to you, you have to know your tribe. Because you don't want to walk out and feel like someone doesn't really care about you and they were just faking to have a friendship with you. I can't.
I don't fake the funk. I cannot fake the funk.
I just cannot.
That's why real friendships were formed. I am like, honestly.
What made you decide to do this show?
Sure. For me, it was a lot of things that made me decide, but I felt like it was time for me to take bet on myself, in a big way. Yeah. It was like, I'm going to bet on myself more than I have to believe in myself. I have to believe that, I am a woman that can be relatable, a woman that... Reality TV is meant to bring a reality of a lot of other people into just the spotlight.
Yeah.
Whatever your reality is.
Yeah.
You share reality with a lot of people,
Yeah.
So your reality is a reality for a lot of people. But yeah, even for you, obviously.
Babe,
yeah.
I mean, doing reality TV was not what you think it's going to be. I think sometimes there's this stereotype that it's scripted. It really isn't scripted, guys. Like,
for sure.
That's the shocker of it all.
And for me, I love it because it's almost like, when people create soapies or whatever, right? They are they're making it up. But with reality is that you can't even... People are glued to soapies because they can reflect and understand on things that they probably...
Characters, that are developed,
So with reality, I feel like it is as real, it is
as real as they come.
It's so real.
And I'm a real reality junkie. I watch reality TV. I've watched reality TV for a long time. And I think one of the things that I'd like to believe... Well, now I'm in it, it's not scripted.
Yeah.
I've always used to say myself, like, you can relate to people. You find someone you can Like I can share that story.
Yes.
This makes sense to me.
Yes.
This makes sense to
Yes.
me. And these girlfriends that are just
Yes, it's amazing.
doing their thing, you know?
I loved.
But don't you feel like it's almost like you've exposed, you're inviting people into
my life.
your
Yeah.
life. And they can have opinions.
Oh my goodness. And I'm like, I think I've always just been a little risque in my life. I've just always been a little extra,
Yeah.
you know? So it was...
If you're not extra, you can't make it on
No,
the
no,
show.
no.
Like, it's just, I think it's just, you
I was
have
just-
to be a little cuckoo. Something mustn't
Honestly,
add up.
Yes, you have to be a little
In your
crazy
brain.
for you to say yes. And I was like, okay, girl, you've always said you are just a little crazy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And crazy will get you, you know, into the most amazing spaces. And
Yeah.
if you just believe in yourself, believe that a lot of things are meant to just take form and shape and
being real. I think
yeah.
it's a matter of being real and
Yeah.
being authentic to yourself and
Yeah.
knowing that you're doing it. We're living our lives.
For sure.
The cameras just happen to be there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
difference. that's really the difference
Sure.
for me when it comes to that thing. And I think that just I literally ask myself, if I don't do it, I probably regret it.
Yes.
So YOLO.
Yes. Yes. Me too.
Let's
I
go.
was like, you know what?
You know?
If I want to look back 10 years from now and I say, I don't want to have that one hanging over my head. I was like, if I don't do this, I will probably regret it.
That was
I'm
my
telling you
motivation.
because it just landed on me. I
didn't go out.
I was literally not fishing for
Babe.
this.
And you know, for me, I just felt like it landed at the wrong time mentally
Sure.
for me in my life
Sure.
to do this. And the more at the time it landed, and I was like, what kind of a sick joke is this?
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
this seems like a joke,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But then if you don't do it, it's like, okay, what am I afraid of?
Yes.
You know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's do this shit and
For
move
sure.
on, you know?
I'm telling you, I was like, for me,
But you don't have any regrets doing the show?
no regrets
Great.
whatsoever. I really feel like I gave myself a lifeline because, you know, my story is, it's...
And your story is,
Yeah.
speaking of your story, you are a mom. I've mentioned that. You're a wife.
Yeah.
I just wanted, let's go back in time. Like when you met your husband, how did you know he was the one? How did you guys get to a point where you felt, this is the person I want to build an empire with? And where did you meet him?
My goodness.
Spill the tea, honey.
I absolutely I feel like my story it will resonate with a lot of women who are in my age group, some younger, some whatever. But I met my husband a while ago, a very, very long time ago. We were both still living in Soweto. I'm a Soweto-born chick. Proud.
Pimville, I'm joking. That's the only place I know in Soweto. I've heard of.
Pimville because of Konka. Is it because of Konka?
Oh, yeah. And then you guys took, oh my God. Oh, Lord. Jesus.
So, yeah, I met my husband in Soweto. And I was a young 21-year-old, trying to figure out her long-term plans. I had just, I was like, but in my heart of hearts, I just was ready to, I think there was just that space that was longing for love. I don't know what it was, and I was loved so much for my family, but I think there was just that thing. I'm a habit of just needing an extra kind of...
You needed a dick to love you.
Well, 21-year-old me, that is not true. Anyway, it doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. No,
Yes.
it doesn't.
So, it was lovely. It was beautiful. He was 26, I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And now that's like, we're in our 30s. He's ending his 30s.
He's going into the fourth floor.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's going into the fourth floor.
Crazy. So you guys
So
have
I'm
watched
like-
each other grow up.
Yes, we literally did. And I think I was just intentional about how I wanted my life to be. I was like, I'm going to be, and that was my vision. And I feel like I should just own the fact that that's what I wanted in my
Yes.
life. I wanted to have.
You wanted the marriage,
Yeah,
the children, you wanted a home.
Yeah.
There's a picture that
Yeah.
every woman,
Yeah.
I think, when you're a young girl, you have a vision of where you see your life
And it's
going.
not everybody who has that vision, by the way.
No, by the
Other
way.
people have different visions. People are like,
Yes.
I cannot wait to see myself wearing those gowns with the
Hey, being a doctor or your career woman, that's what
and then
you
you
desire
drive to
to
it
do.
and you make it happen, and
you do.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I'm going to find the love of my life, and we are going to create a beautiful life for ourselves. And I started from the bottom.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like I've been so blessed in my life. I don't want to lie. I don't want to take anything away from the fact that I've been highly favored. I've had experiences that most people can only dream of.
Yeah.
So everything that I've ever dreamed about, what a journey it's been. The journey that landed me to being on the Real Housewives. And I will never take that for granted. I'll never take for granted the fact that God has blessed me with beautiful
children. So adorable.
Because they were conceived with love. I love my husband. I believe that we were once very, very in love and we loved each other.
And you were on this, you guys, obviously when you started off, there was a vision.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. There's something that drew you guys together.
For sure.
And there was something you saw within each other and felt like we can build from here going forward.
I think right off the bat, because of my value system has always just been like that. I think, you know, he saw fit that this is the kind of woman. We both didn't have children. We were very young. So, you know, my son was born a year later, 2011.
Oh,
So
wow.
we made it to 2010. He was born in 2011. And it's been,
And when you were at that age, at 21, knowing what you wanted in your relation, knowing the type of relationship you wanted, and knowing that you wanted a husband, you wanted, you know, because sometimes people can be like, oh no, you're still young.
Yeah.
Why are you rushing?
Yeah.
Did you ever get those?
No, but I think because once I've made up my mind about something, I'm telling you, it is very hard to convince me otherwise. That's just the kind of person that I am. And I was like, okay, I was sure. And, you know, I think I've always been given such free liberty at home with a lot of guidance. I think my mom has always just also wanted me to be true to myself.
Yeah.
You know?
have to.
Yeah. So,
You have to.
man, if I have to talk about my life story with my husband, it is an amazing one, tumultuous one.
Ups and downs,
you
like
know,
every other relationship, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what relationships are. You know, when you start off with someone, you both, especially at that age, because I can relate to that. I also started off very young. And at 20, and married at 21. Yeah, somewhere in between. Yeah. And you're very young in going into this thing because you have a vision of what you want to look like or what you want to achieve. And you grow. Yeah. The Kia at 21 is not the Kia that's sitting in front of me today.
Definitely not. Every day.
Do you know what I mean?
I wonder, I almost want to go back into that mindset and have a conversation with my 21-year-old self.
What would you say to your 21-year-old self?
Oh my God, it's a lot. I don't know.
Say it's just something that, okay, pertaining to your relationship. Yeah. What would you have said to your 21-year-old self?
Oof. To my 21-year-old self that was pregnant, and a lot of red flags were already there with my husband, but because I'm that, I will love you so hard that you will have no choice but to love me right back.
Okay. Yeah, all in.
Yeah, you gotta know. So
you don't have a choice.
Yeah. So basically, that woman, I was gonna say to her is that, I don't know.
You won't be judged. Don't overthink it. And just because I'm asking you, what would you say to your 21-year-old? It doesn't mean you have regret.
Yes.
It doesn't mean that.
Yes.
Because out of your relationship, you've created something beautiful.
Yeah.
You can't take it away from that.
Yeah.
But it's just what would you say? You know, and don't feel like anyone is judging you. Here on this, we don't judge, right, guys? Please, we don't. So, no judgment zone, and it doesn't mean that you're taking everything you've built. Yes, it doesn't mean that.
I think I'm such an overthinker.
You're such an overthinker. I was about to say that. I shouldn't even have asked you that question because this girl will just overthink everything. That's the problem.
Man, yeah, but I don't know. We'll come back to that question.
Yeah, Are you really overthinking this thing?
I really am.
Oh my God, Kia. I know what I would say to your 21-year-old self.
Okay, what would you say to your 21?
I would have said to you, have an open mind. And don't be in a hurry for anything. That's what I would have said to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But...
And you live and learn.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Honestly, I've enjoyed my life and I've learned so much. There's been so many life lessons. There's been... Sure, I wouldn't know.
With your relationship, I mean, you guys are together or, you know, for... over a decade. Relationship, as we know, is not easy. Yeah. It's not a joke.
Yeah.
You know, I don't take it for granted. I always say this. Everybody's relationship is designed according to their personality and what they want out of the relationship. Yeah. When you started having children with your husband, because I hear this a lot. I've heard this term a lot. And you can say, you know, if you agree to this or not, that's up to you.
Okay.
I've heard this term of women saying being a single mother. Why? I know I'm jumping from the love and into we're about to go in. We're about to go in. But I've heard this term of women saying, I'm a single mother while I'm married. And I've always been like, damn, like there's a lot of women that say that all the time. Did you ever feel like it's something that you had to deal with in your relationship at certain points in your life? Because relationships differ. Yeah. And I'm not saying that to say every man is perfect out there. No. Yeah. Because there's times where you have to give... Relationship one is not 50-50. I don't think it's 50-50. Okay. Because there are times you're giving 100 and there are times you're giving 50% and there are times you're giving 80% or 70%, depending on the phase you're in your relationship at that point. Did you ever think that is something that you had to deal with?
I felt that we had different parenting ideas, different parenting goals, and how we view the role or the importance of a particular parent in one's child, in a child's life. We view it differently. And those are the things, like for instance, that I will go back to my 21-year-old self and be like, you have to be true to yourself. You have to also be able to share values. You have to share a value system with your husband, so that even when you miss each other along the way, you will all the time.
There's a foundation.
Yeah.
There's a core.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. Sure. For me, we didn't see eye to eye in terms of our hands-on thing with being a parent. And because obviously being a housewife, you automatically take on the bigger role, because you automatically feel that because you kind of devalue your role because it's not monetary.
Which you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because that job is one of the hardest jobs.
I have been such an intentional mom to my children, how the things that I want to instill in them, the things that... So obviously when you see that the family or the vision is not really coming together, that's when, you can go through a lot yourself as a mom. So I would personally say a lot of women experience being...
like a single mom. Yeah. And that's because of the role that each person is playing at that time. Yeah. I do think that because as when you get married, roles are defined.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yes.
You being a housewife, and when I say housewife, guys, please take the show out of the... We're talking of real life, like housewife. Yeah. Because did you intentionally want it to be a stay-at-home mom?
It happened. It happened. It almost just happened simultaneously because we had, from Soweto, when we started dating, we then moved to Pretoria. And then when we were living in Pretoria...
Should have never left, but anyway.
I love Pretoria. I love it. So when we lived in Pretoria, my traveling to Joburg and whatever, and I just felt like, you know what? We both felt like we are in a position that I can not carry that burden of just
up and down and working.
And it sort of worked its way into my life that I happened to be a housewife, and then I had my second child in 20. This is after we got married while I had the first child. So when our son was 3 years old, we did the whole traditional wedding, and I think I was just in a space whereby I felt that I wanted to be a wife, a mom, you know. So I think a lot of my aspirations and goals obviously hid a lot of things. I just kind of pushed away a lot of things because this was already happening, and I'm getting my dream life. I am loving every second of...
You provided for. You have security. You feel safe. There's nothing else you're looking for. That brings me, what I wanted to ask you is, did you ever feel at some point that you lost your personal, like, because we can get caught up with the family. You know, it happens. You get caught up with the kids and stuff. And I'm not saying that to say being a housewife is degrading. No. That is by far one of the hardest jobs. Make I just tell you that now. Hey, to stay at home, make sure your husband is well fed.
And also,
you know,
and being the backbone of somebody, you know, when there's a saying, the wind beneath somebody's wings.
Yes.
You make sure that person is doing
everything they could do to continue to be who they are, to provide for this entire family. There's a lot riding on you.
Yeah, a lot.
And there's a lot that woman has to put up with.
Sure.
Because you have to build and continue to support and encourage and uplift.
Yes.
And make sure this man feels that he is the man all the time.
And hence, you know, whenever, I think I actually solved our problems by always trying for us to get away. And that's how we actually ended up traveling so much, is because I was like, okay, how am I going to keep inspiring? And also inspiring him. This is what we said we want.
Yeah.
This is what we are capable of doing. This is what God has done in our lives. You know, that's how my role, and it almost became defined in such a way that if you have a man who doesn't have masculinity,
I struggle with that word. I really do.
Yes. You know, if you have a man who's so certain and so about his role, he'll never take your role for granted. Yes.
Yeah.
He will be very much
appreciative and aware.
He will want to make sure that you also continue to play your role to the best of your ability, by him also being...
I always say that people can't give you what they don't have. It's such a thing,
my goodness,
that we need to understand, and we need to sort of accept.
For sure.
Like, if Kia is not going to love me as a friend, like maybe if Kia is not the calling me everyday type.
Of course.
And I want Kia to be the calling me everyday type.
Yeah.
But she's not that girl. And I'm fighting with you every day because I'm like, Kia, you don't call me every day. You don't call me every day.
Yeah.
This friendship is over. It doesn't mean Kia doesn't love me. It just means
she's not able to love you the way that you
I want
to
that, you know? So I think sometimes, even when we were talking about the parenting styles and stuff, there's always going to be a difference in parenting styles in a relationship because your upbringing and the other person's upbringing is not the same. They didn't grow up in the same household. They didn't grow up in the same... It's not the same. So this person is going to bring their own style of parenting. You're going to bring your own style. And I think that's why a lot of couples clash.
And that's why and I'm saying what balances it out is the kind of partner that you have that they don't turn something like that into something toxic. Being a housewife can be really something peaceful that brings a man a lot of peace and feel like he's able to do this for his family.
Yeah.
Should that thing, that masculine over
What's that word?
it is so it can turn something that is
whatever.
meant to be really beautiful into something that
can become
become
very,
ugly.
Yeah.
Yes. So
it can become toxic.
So
yeah.
but then I don't know.
When you started, like, first of all, when you were a housewife, were you content?
To a certain degree, I was content because I don't know, Mamus. Hey, I think that's such a and I'm still also I'm on that journey whereby I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is that had I discovered who I am? Was I giving myself enough chance to discover who I am? And I think I was content up to a certain point until I could see that this is going to be something that's going to be, it's going to work against me, And then that's when anxiety then comes in. That's when, when you can see that this thing that was meant to be something really, really beautiful is turning into something really, really unhealthy for myself. Then you get into...
The insecurities kick in. Everything starts kicking in.
And when money then plays a huge role, in terms of what you have access to money because you're able to shop, you're able to, travel the world.
Yeah.
But when you think about it in the reality of things, you can't make a decision that will suit you as and when you decide. You know what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that I started seeing that, oh my goodness, okay, because I cannot be like tomorrow, you know what, this marriage is not working for me.
How do I get out? How do I pick up the pieces? I haven't worked in 10 years. I don't have a business currently. I don't have this,
And there were businesses but I wasn't hands-on.
100% hands-on.
Yeah, I wasn't hands-on. So
it's like, how do you...
Is that unhealthy dependency thing that started happening in my marriage, the unhealthy dependency whereby, like I'm saying, when that masculinity thing happens with the man, seeing that, okay, I can really either make this something positive or really make it negative. And that's when the dependency was now heightening to a point whereby, okay, this is,
it's going down. Right?
Yeah.
It's going down,
my goodness.
Hey, God. Wow. Do you think that, because I often find that, let me ask you this. When you were when you started off your relationship with your husband and eventually you become a housewife and you live this life, I don't want to say, did you ignore any red flags and just compensated on other things to balance it out for you?
Almost, that is, those are the questions that I ask myself all the time. That did I know what was happening? And I don't even know how to. I think I did. I did ignore the red flags because a lot of things started happening very, very earlier on. When somebody, the easiest way to get somebody is to get their mind.
Yep.
When at a young, when something like, emotionally toxic, something that starts happening from a young age, it starts to control your thoughts, your mind, what you are like. Your next thing is, how do I get back into that happy space? And when somebody's able to see that you need their validation, you need their, their their love to feel complete. And, you know, I can talk about this the whole day, but I feel like I ignored the red flags because you know, with every human being, everybody's got their flaws, and
We all have evil traits, guys.
Everybody got their flaws when they're in a relationship.
Yeah.
But when somebody starts using your flaws to
magnify it bigger.
Yes.
Make it bigger.
Yeah.
You're the reason I'm doing this.
Yes. And the long and silent treatments in a relationship where somebody is emotionally dependent on you and somebody is they've learned and figured out that, okay, if
this affects you.
Yes.
So I'm going to punish you when it affects you.
And that's how then I've been very intentional about how I speak about this topic because I feel like there has to be an openness and honesty about certain things that are happening, and it's happening hugely in society, you know. And that's why if you own the truth about what is happening to you, that's how you'll free yourself and basically out of that the shackles.
When you like, do you think that it's easy for women to speak on these issues? Or not easy. Do you think it's difficult for women to speak on these issues because they will be judged?
Yeah, there's a lot of shame that comes
There's a lot of shame that comes with this, you know?
There's a lot of shame that comes with it.
You know, I've actually just felt not recently.
Yeah.
Gaslighting is a thing that a lot of us do. Not just our significant other. We also do it too. People do it. Guys, we all are gaslighters out there. And I think we're just realizing it now that it's such a big thing.
Yeah. And
and you don't even realize even gaslit.
Yeah, gaslit.
For years and years
I
and
started
years.
learning these things as an adult. I think when I started being intentional about my mental health was 2020, to be honest, the worst time during lockdown.
Yeah, because we all had time.
Yeah.
Everybody had time to search everything and to think and to see.
That was the time when I started discovering, oh my goodness, how am I started enlightening myself, and that's how I kind of started rediscovering myself. Mamus.
Within your marriage.
Yeah. In my marriage,
when was the light bulb? Was there a specific moment in your relationship where you felt, there it is?
Mamus, for us to even have moved, by the way, for us, we are back in Joburg. We are in Joburg full time. Yeah. But for us to have moved from a life that we had built in Pretoria, we had built a life since 2011. We've been living in Pretoria. Up until December 2019, just before lockdown. We didn't even know that we were going to go through a lockdown.
Oh, wow. You just moved.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow.
Literally December 2019. And we wouldn't have moved from Pretoria had the relationship been healthy. But it was already so toxic. And Pretoria.
You needed an environment where there's a safety net that you have to create. Because your family is based in Soweto.
In Soweto, Joburg, in the south.
And you're here with your partner, with the kids. And if you're going through anything in your relationship... I was
going through the most 2019.
Like, where do you run? Like, where's the quick...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
2019, I was going through the most. That's when I actually got this tattoo. In 2019, I actually spoke about this on RealHousewives as well. That 2019...
It's when you got the tattoo.
Got it in 2019 when I felt like I'm drowning to a point, like I'm not normal. I'm losing it mentally. There's so much that's going on that I can't even say it with my mouth. I don't think people will understand. People will even get it. Yes. But, you know, that's when you asked me about the light bulb. That's when I was like, okay, you know what? You have to do something about this. You have to save yourself somehow. Then for me, the first thing was like, I'm moving closer to family, closer to home. You have to sell a house in Pretoria.
Because you need your village.
Yeah. We sold, we didn't even sell, we moved out. That's how urgent it was for me. That's how we moved out of a home that we had built that was a whole dream come true, from 2 young kids that literally come from Soweto to have bought land, build a house from there, from scratch, to have our children, see our children grow up in there. That was, for me, to be able to shed yourself from things, knowing that it's gonna get better if I take these huge chances on. I was like, you know what? And then,
so that was you trying to save your marriage.
Yeah, that was me.
Trying to save your marriage.
Yes, that was me trying to save the marriage.
Did you ever, like, all these experiences you were having in your relationship at the time? Obviously, it's a build up of things. It didn't just you didn't just wake up one day and then
it was a build up of things, a build up of years of a lot of emotional toxicity, silent treatment that were like.
You speak about the silent treatment a lot.
Yeah.
The silent treatment was something that was happening very frequently.
Very frequently, but I kind of always would know how to cure it. You know, it was my job to fix it, to make it okay. Yes, and that's how you lose yourself. So
if you get in the silent treatment, you know it's happening.
I would feel it as it's about to happen. There'd be this chill in the atmosphere, and it'd be like, oh my God, are we doing this again?
So that was happening because he knows that irks you. So that's your punishment.
Yeah. It hurt me. It hurt me too. It would hurt me to a point where I was debilitated by the pain. And that's how you lose yourself and be like, okay, Kevin, why are you? And people would often ask me, and I listen to a lot of self-help by Dr. Ramani. That's how, by the way, I started the healing journey, to understand exactly what had been happening
in your marriage
to me for so long.
Yeah.
Anaway, young girl who was head over heels in love with her husband.
Yeah.
Loved that man. Literally, legit. I was like, I'm going to build
a king.
Yeah. I'm going to give him kids.
Yeah.
I'm going to grow
old with him.
Yeah.
This is, I don't think anybody gets married, first of all, to wanting to separate or for it not to work out. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Especially from a woman's
perspective.
You know, I think we all get into it like it's the long haul.
It was basically because it was always so good and then yet so bad. So it became my life mission to stabilize everything. So
put everything in control.
Yes.
And don't do things that's gonna make you have silent treatment.
Yes. And that's why I'm like, I'm a good disaster management kind of person. I can solve a problem right now. But yeah, I learned those few, and those are the things that I'm discovering about myself as well.
And solve the problem in the Real Housewives. Find out why they're all fighting each other and fix it.
I'm telling you, my friend, like I am really, really. It's been a beautiful journey. So hard. For you to accept the truth is the hardest part. I think for me, moving from Pretoria 2019, coming into Joburg, we've just left a house that we haven't even put on the market yet, and lockdown happens.
Oh, that is intense.
That was intense.
Because now you're dealing not only with the relationship issues that is part of what you're trying to solve. Yeah. You hit lockdown. You haven't put this house on the market. You're going into another house. Yeah. You have to pay for that house. You have to do this.
Yeah.
Financial burden will get involved. Like,
you know, Mamus,
nobody knew where lockdown was going. We all thought we were going to die.
It was crazy.
I bought food to last me for a good,
I was shopping groceries like crazy.
Listen.
Every week. I was creating recipes. I was like, oh my goodness.
I knew it was serious when my husband came home with fruits and vegetables worth 3,000 rand. I was like, this man thinks we're going to die. Like, you know what I mean? I was juicing every single day to survive.
That is when I think everything started changing for myself, my moves. I really have I feel like everything that we go through in life is meant to either propel us to be our greater selves or to sink, you know? And for me, lockdown was so hard, but it also saved me mentally, I was like, I took time to really, really, really figure.
The world was on pause.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally it was on pause.
Because there's no distraction. There's no partying. There's no out lunch with friends and kids aren't going to school.
Yeah.
So we all have to sit and take introspection
and
in
I
our lives.
can safely say that's when, like, it was like...
God was.
Yeah.
Did you ever reach out to family? Because for me, if this man is giving me wahala, speed dial your family member.
It was something that I had been doing, and I remember the last family meeting was actually in 2020. And I had said to myself, I'm never ever gonna do this. I had called my family and his family more than probably 3 or 4 times while we were living in Pretoria.
And did anything positive come out of it?
It would literally be like a week, and then nothing was ever resolved.
I feel like because you're the woman who calls for these meetings, do you ever feel like sometimes family members can become very judgmental?
Yeah. And that was the most toxic thing I've ever experienced. I'm telling you, and that's when I had that last meeting with the family and whatever in 2020, I said to myself, this will be the last
meeting.
And I actually didn't even call that meeting, by the way, the last one.
He called it.
I don't know why, because there were so many things that were happening. And I think that's when you also understand gaslighting, when somebody makes you feel like he's experiencing such
the world is crumbling on him.
And you would be like, why are you calling a family meeting when I'm going through?
You're the victim here.
Yeah.
Then he's calling the family meeting
to flip the script. And
it's almost who calls the principal is the person that is not in trouble.
Basically. But there were so many things. And that's why I've always been a person that has protected her family so much. And at that time, I felt like, what in the world is happening? And I was like, I actually said to my mom, I don't want to attend this meeting because, first of all, nothing has ever been resolved before. Why am I doing this? And that's when I was like, I'm not doing this to myself. Mental health, this is not good for me. I'm not going to sit around the table for people to tell me idioms, you know, those idioms that's like, they don't understand the real situation.
Yeah.
And
then it becomes a thing of, you need to begazela well, you're not maybe doing this or that.
And I was like, this is pure gaslighting. What is happening?
You need to humble yourself as a wife. Oh my God. You need to just make sure this man feels like the king is. It falls on the woman. Why?
You can only treat a man like a king when he treats you like
the queen. It's really that simple. I can't express that. Like, it's really, really
But those are
simple.
the basic principles. It was said in the Bible. We all know, guys, and we're not even going to go into that topic because the recipe is so simple.
I mean,
if you are
for men to be like, I want a submissive wife. Submissive wife. For you to have a submissive wife, I don't have a problem with submissive wife. Yeah. I can submit all day long.
And the thing is, people are trying to shun away from those basic principles of life. That is what is going to keep...
If the wife is the neck and the man is the head, who controls the head? But the neck makes like, come on. So there's no argument there who needs to submit. It's okay, I'm submissive.
Submission, it will happen. You won't even have to force it. You won't have to... Right? You won't have to be fighting for it. It will be... Guys,
if you're a man and you're watching or you're listening and you're asking for your woman to be submissive, you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Trust me. You don't have to ask for a woman to be submissive. They will submit to you and bring you the food on 2 knees if they have to.
My goodness.
If they feel...
The recipe is so sad. I don't know. I think when they go on these conferences that they claim to go on to, they need to literally...
What damn conferences?
I don't know, these men's conferences.
It's a drinking conference. I'm sorry, please.
They literally need to have a person who's got the formula, who has perfected it, and tell them how it's done. There are many men. I genuinely aspire to people that make marriage work.
Yeah.
And especially when you can see that this is an intentional man about making this marriage. Yeah. He's not perfect.
No. Because no marriage is perfect.
No human being is perfect.
No human being.
This man is intentional about being the kind of
Because when
a
you
man of
choose to
stature,
be with someone,
a man
you know,
of of course,
it's a decision. I feel like relationships or marriage,
every day.
it's every day you're choosing
it's
to
an
be in
everyday
this thing,
decision,
you know.
yeah.
And I don't want guys to ever think, oh no, it's all in their like. Women can also do the worst.
Yeah, for sure.
And
For
fuck
sure.
up your life.
Yeah.
As well, you
Yeah.
know. So it's not a thing.
That's why being a man who is solid and grounded, he will know how to first of all get a wife, and you know, he who finds a wife
finds a good thing and obtains favor.
Oh my goodness, what is going on, guys? What are you doing? Guys, stop! Guys, stop! What are you doing? What
Were you recording that? Right? Are we on? Okay, just don't show him that. Okay, cool. Let's go.
friend,
The
honestly,
transition.
I love it when couples are winning at life, at just being happy. Friend, I'm like the biggest cheerleader of healthy marriages.
No, we have
Honestly.
to keep it. You have to.
Yeah,
You know.
huge cheerleader of healthy marriages, and I'm not saying, and I will once reiterate, no perfect marriage.
There is no marriage that's
but
perfect.
healthy marriages.
Zero.
I aspire to that. I clap for those that are intentional and doing it great. So for me, 2019, friend, like we're on that
Yes.
situation of saying it was basically me trying to save my marriage. Number one, trying to save myself as well.
Intense.
Yeah. It felt so, it was almost, everything almost felt like it was happening in slow motion. You know? And I will publicly say this. Honestly, my sister's always been
Ole.
she's always been on my side.
Such a darling.
Yeah, she's always been on my side.
She's ready to pounce whoever is coming for Claire. Yo, I love her.
She will kill you. I'm telling you.
kill
She was
you.
like, you know what? Because we are dealing with a very sensitive topic, let me save my sister. It was very intentional for her, you know, because I think she had been studying and figuring a way to let me know as to how I'm going to get back my sister.
I can't imagine how difficult that is for her or what's for her at
That
the
was
time.
very, very
because when
difficult.
you're seeing someone suffering on
Yeah,
a daily basis and you guys are very close.
Yeah.
So she knows everything that you're dealing with. And I'm
Everything.
sure for her, how does she tell you that, girl, you're in a situation that is not healthy for you?
She, and many a times whereby, as earlier on in the years, my sister was the one that was like, Gabby, tone down your vibe, your attitude, because I do have that that extra thing, you know. And and for the mere fact that she was always also very objective, she never just took my side from the beginning. Honestly, she was always be like, "Guys, I think you might have been right. You was just a little sassy." And this was a working progress. This was many years of working progress, whereby somebody was like, "I'm gonna have to figure out if it's my sister's problem. Is it her? Is she the problem?" And she would cancel me whenever I was like, "I'm done." She'd be like, "No,
Go back.
Fix this, fix it." And once I had ticked almost all the boxes, like, I've tried this, some no asking where are you from type of thing.
There's nothing else you can do. I think it takes two people to save a marriage.
Sure.
Kia, you must know
I had
that.
done everything at that point whereby I was like,
Takes
okay,
two people.
I've stopped being the nag, because you're first told you're a nag.
nag.
I stopped being the nag. I stopped asking,
I have
where
an
are you
issue
and
with
when-
that, being told you're the neg.
But friend,
the reason
you
I
see-
have an issue with it because it's almost like gaslighting.
Yeah.
You know that?
Of course it is. It is. But I'm telling you, I had to also I kind of had to almost say, this is what has been requested, even though how ridiculous it be. And those are also the parts whereby you let go of your highest thought and you be like, okay, I've been told that I'm a nag. Okay, maybe I am a nag. Let me stop asking these questions, because I see these are trigger questions. And why would they be a trigger question to somebody who's moving straight in life? Trigger questions, where you from? It's 1:00.
There's no need for you to be defensive about anything.
What time? When you coming? And then that you're like, okay, I'm gonna stop asking. You come home at 4. There's no drama. I'm going to eliminate drama, even though there's a reason for drama, friend. Like, you can't be.
But that is you.
Kind of shutting down my voice.
Yes. That's what I'm about to say. That's you
killing myself.
Killing yourself in the long run. That is never healthy.
It wasn't. I will be legit
Every time
honest.
I used to say that, I'm not going to say anything about this.
Yes.
Oh, that's Mamu Keke inside of me that goes,
like, girl, no,
you
honey,
gotta speak because I can't function. It's like
it was a slow poison. It really was.
It destroys you.
Yeah. It was a slow poison.
Completely, because the guy is getting
away
with
a lot of things and not being accountable.
Yeah.
And I can talk about accountability, and I can talk about a lot of things that needed to affirm, and that's when that's when working on yourself and being like, Kawethu, you are not crazy. You know, you look at yourself and be like, you are not
crazy. This is happening.
Like, okay. But then you first have to, before you can try and convince somebody else, you have to believe it yourself first.
Yeah. You have to.
So for me, that was the thing. I had to believe it myself. I had to believe it before I could try and make somebody else get it, you know?
Because if not, you're just... But then I feel like we have to be I like the fact that you're very intentional about the things you want. But I feel like we have to be very intentional about putting ourselves in a position. You've got children. And I'm just going to give you a very good girlfriend advice. At the end of the day, Kia, you have to put yourself first in order to be a great mom.
You cannot.
To your children, a great daughter to your parents, your mom, you know, and everything.
Yeah. You cannot pour from an empty cup. Friend. So yes, shutting that voice down, killing yourself day in, day out. But once in a while, hence the statue was so important. You're not drowning. Keep your head above the water. No matter how, if it's reaching here, come back to the surface. And that's how I feel like I was able to kind of always save myself, firstly, by being intentional about the other important relationships in my life. So intentional about my relationship with my children. So intentional about my friendships as well. So intentional about my family life.
You need them.
Every aspect of my other life was what kept me afloat.
Yeah.
And in that kind of a marriage, those kinds of strong bonds will irritate the fuck out of somebody that doesn't.
Because you know what?
Want to see you always rise above.
Because it's like, if I am doing something that I need to keep you here.
Yeah.
And I can see.
My sister was a huge
that you're waking up.
Yeah.
And you are seeing.
Yes. What is going on?
I'm going to be threatened.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to be defensive. I'm going to panic because it's like, whatever hold I had, it's going away. Yes. The grip is...
The grip. And it was there for so long. I don't want to lie. I will say, and I'll say it at every turn. How can you weaponize somebody's love that they have for you and use it as and use it against them?
Yeah.
You can't weaponize something. For me, love is the strongest. For it will get you out of it. Like you always win if you choose love.
I feel like it's so important to always remember what your relationship is built on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's almost like going back to basics.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So when there's issues happening, fine, love is not enough to carry the whole relationship through. I get that.
That's what I discovered, by the way.
Love is the one thing that should bring you guys back together.
It should be the constant.
It should be the constant thing.
And by the way, when we mention love is, first of all, God is love. You know, that should for me, that has always also been just a thing for me. And going back to the red flag, the core values, if somebody is not a person who consults God with their big decisions, that's a huge one.
But how do you know?
You will know if you are wise enough. You will know.
Yeah.
And I will always and there's this thing, and I don't know, you can't do better when you don't know better.
That's true.
Yeah. For me,
you can't do better if you don't know. Yeah.
You can't do better if you don't know better. And for me, these were my core set values, but I didn't know what were the deal breakers. And And I think
it's so important to establish that in every relationship, what the deal breaker is. It's almost like...
And somebody also has to know your deal breakers and respect that.
And respect that.
Yes.
But sometimes deal breakers can also become a thing of, it happened, what do you do about it? You know? And 21-year-old Kia and 28 or 30-year-old Kia, it's not the same person. So I was always asked that, sorry to cut you, but it's like, if your husband was to do this or this or this, would you leave? Before children, when I was early on in my marriage, I'm like, I'm out of the door. I'm like, done, peace. Now my answer is different.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of things to consider.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So making a decision can't be easy.
Yes. And deal breakers are different. Then, for instance, what will make the relationship sustain is the deal breakers that started being broken from the beginning.
And it started
then,
on.
Yeah. And then it carries on, it carries on.
But you left it, like, you decide to say, okay, you know what?
I'm going to let this one slide.
I'm going to let this one slide.
That's how...
let that one slide.
Yes.
I'm going to let this one slide.
Yeah.
But when you start leaving the little things slide, the little things become bigger things.
My goodness.
You know, boundaries in the relationship is so important. And, you know, sometimes when I make such a big deal, even in my relationship, and like, oh, you're just making a big deal. I have to make a big deal about this now. Because if I don't make a big deal about this now...
You can't be surprised 5 years down the line, be like...
That's...
No. You let that go from jump. And
it got worse, and it got worse. Don't cry wolf. You know what I mean?
So it's that feeling as well that's why I will go back to the feeling of shame, is because that's where the shame then comes in, because...
But you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Of course.
Do you think that now that, like, at what point do you have the kids? Let's talk a little bit about the kids. Because, you know, we think kids are kids, but they see everything.
My kids
and
are so...
hear everything.
My kids are so in tune and in touch, and it's so scary, but at the same time, it's such a blessing, because my kids have seen my evolution. My kids have been there from the beginning, whereby they had that other mom in Pretoria, whereby if something really, really bad happened, and I'm talking, my husband has never ever touched me physically, by the way, but it would be so bad that I wouldn't even be able to maybe get out of bed for the day. And my helper, my mom, she's still with me to this day. She was there. She was a mother to my kids when I wasn't...
When you weren't able to be there for them.
Yeah, because... So they've seen the evolution. Even me doing the show, they've seen that, oh my God, we... Like, it's amazing to watch. That's why I say I decided to just bet on myself, because I think... people believed in me more than I believed in myself. That's why he bet on me, by the way. And somebody bets on you, and I also bet on him.
Yeah.
That's a huge thing, you know. But also being able to also just bet on yourself in the most, like, unfavorable situations. Yeah. It's that faith without borders kind of vibe. Yeah. You know, it's that huge. It's that important. Hence, betting on a brand, conceptualizing a brand from scratch, and be like, I'm not gonna take on somebody's brainchild or whatever. I'm going to do something that makes sense to me. That was also another huge thing. I'd be like, okay, I've been betting on somebody for so long.
When are you betting on yourself?
And it was working. It was like, you know, when...
Now you have to bet on yourself, and out of you rediscovering yourself, out of you going through this change, making a bold move. Okay, I have to say, it is so bold of a move to make when you know that this doesn't satisfy, this doesn't fulfill the purpose that God has for me.
It was that conversation that I had to have with God, by the way, and be like, what is your...
Deciding.
How are you going to turn this into your glory? And I was like, I give you all of the power.
And that's a very interesting thing you're saying, because to let go of something that you feel like you've built, you know, and this is all of your life.
Yeah, basically.
Up until, you know, and to say, you know what, God, I'm entrusting this back to you.
Yeah, and I will entrust the rest of my life to you, because my goodness, when you decide and to bring God into like the next decisions of your life, that is huge. And when he speaks, you have to also be of sound mind to be able
Discerning
to hear
spirit.
him. Yeah.
Because we miss it.
Yeah.
That's where we miss
Yeah.
it. That discerning part
Yeah.
is where we all miss it.
And that's why lockdown was like the space it gave me to be like, I need to be able to hear you.
Yes.
Because I had asked him for so long, you can't be a beggar for your life. Like, oh God, please. I wasn't begging anymore. I was like, I want to hear you. I've asked you, you know what I need. You know my needs.
Yeah.
More than anything, you know my needs.
Yeah.
You know what I've been through. You were there when it was just the three of us.
Yes.
You have always been there.
Do you ever feel like people are going to judge you, family, and now you being a public person?
Yeah.
And being out there that, I mean, people obviously know you.
Yeah.
From
And the
back then, yeah. And as a young couple that got married, and it's like, we all look up to that young couple that's like, this is the people that are doing it, yes.
It's because I had to keep it beautiful. And it was, and that's when it's hard for me to say it was not beautiful when it was beautiful, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's.
Don't you think that sometimes we end up living up to people's expectation of us?
For sure.
They're living up to our own.
Yeah.
Because then you're thinking, how many hearts am I going to break? My family's going to think I'm a failure.
Yeah.
The kids are going to have lived separate lives.
Yeah.
Spend one weekend there, spend one weekend. It's like...
And also just communities. Like there's so much.
Yeah, then there's friends. Then there's people who are like, oh, but I got married because of you guys.
Yeah.
Or I did this because of you guys. And now, like, if you guys can break up, I've heard comments that if you guys break up, I don't know. I'm done. Yeah. It's like
that pressure, that pressure. It's always been there. And because people just build up a picture about you and some of it will be true, but there's a lot of parts in there that's
how I've always felt. Like whoever says to me, oh yeah, my relationship goals, I'm like, please stop. I'm nobody's relationship goal. I'm still trying to figure it out.
Honey.
How about that?
Yeah,
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to understand what works and what doesn't work, because relationship changes with time.
Yeah. We've all...
What I liked then is not what I like now.
That's why, it is, my goodness.
It's like, constant work.
Marriage is
not a joke, guys. It is really, really not a joke.
If I ever get lucky enough to redo
Wish
this...
you will. She will. She will. Kia is such a lover. Kia is a lover of love.
Oh my goodness.
I see you already like... You will. You really will. You're a nurturer by nature.
If I ever be so blessed enough to ever redo this again, my goodness, like...
What would you do different?
I'd own my voice, and I'd know that those parts of me, somebody else is not going to use them against you. It is okay to be yourself.
Yeah. And you'll be loved for you being yourself. Out of everything you've been through with your relationship, out of anything bad, there's always good that comes out of it. There was a birth of a beautiful brand, which I love, Liwara Kids. This is something that you started. How?
Liwara Kids is so special to me because I wanted something that can embody me, the things that are important to me, which is, I don't want somebody else's story or narrative to be with the brand. That's why also creating and be there in the formation, the build-up of a brand is the most, like, I was literally saying to one friend of mine, I was like, this is literally, I'm in the school of life right now.
Yeah.
I literally was in the school of life. I taught myself, I learned so much through the development of this brand, the business aspect of
things as well. You're going into a different venture completely.
Sure, it was a huge leap of faith, and every day I'm brainstorming. I'm thinking, how am I going to make this
bigger
brand translate the way that I understand it to be just something. It is literally a rebirth.
Yeah.
To myself. I'm like, again, betting on myself once more, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna give this.
And it's got such a touching story because of your journey and because and she did this cute fashion show, which was so amazing. Like, you know, and the launch of your brand, the quality is also very good.
Friend,
Like, oh my God, like I remember when we started becoming friends, you were telling me, I'm doing this brand and this, and I'm going to manufacturers and this. You were actually hands-on. You didn't just slap your name into anything.
Every step of the way. That's why, you know, I want to see it grow. I want to, as I grow, I want to see it grow as well. It would literally be. You know that flower, you're like, oh my God, is this? It
started this, and it's like, oh my God,
big, you know, it is. I just want, and I've said, God, just write your name all over my story, rewrite my story, and I will see the hand, the work, the sweat, the tears,
everything
the
pay off. Yeah,
everything.
Yeah,
I am so grateful for, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And the ugly.
Fuck, the good was so good, and
the bad was also so bad. The ugly was motherfucking ugly.
It was so nasty, honey. It was so nasty. But honestly, right now, all I can say, in Kourtney Kardashian style, just living my life. Honey.
Live your best life. On that note, guys, like, I cannot even like tell you how proud I am of you.
Yeah. Thank you,
the girl I met when we started this, and I'm so glad we have this genuine friendship that is, you know, here. There's a sisterhood, and I believe, I really, really do care. You will find you're happy. You will find your peace. You will find everything that will make you shine
and radiate.
Do you know what I mean? Because it takes a great man to also unlock the greatness inside of you. It takes, you know what I mean?
That's why I'm talking the masculinity thing. It's up to you what you want to do with it. It can really be amazing. Or
it can work for you, or it can work against you. Yeah. So it's just how you want to see it happen.
Friend, I also want to just say that, honestly, watching you also own your life, it's beautiful to see. You know, you're not couple goals, but I love.
I'm not couple goals. I'm not.
But I love it. I love it. I love to see it, friend. Honestly, I love to see just intention being put into just something so sacred and beautiful as marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing.
It's a beautiful thing. Yeah. It's a beautiful thing, but it can also be a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I just think that sometimes we overthink things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just enjoy life. You know?
Enjoy life. You know?
Fuck and be married.
That topic, oh my God, was so much. Guys, why do we like to talk about sex so much on the show?
Because sex makes us happy. The same way the bubbles make us happy, sex makes us happy. Well, guys, thank you. It's hectic. We can go on forever, guys. Yeah, thank you so much, Kia, babe, for being here. I really love you so much.
Love you.
And thank you guys for watching and for listening. And this is a couple of things. Mamus and Kia edition.
Yay! Love it.
Love it.